once again, Sean Strickland gets it done in a championship setting, as a massive, massive underdog, gets it done. This time, Khamzat Chimaev is the victim. Joshua Van and Tatsuro Taira put on a banger, an all-time flyweight matchup. Love that. The rest of the card for UFC 328 was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Give my thoughts on the card, share a little bit of boxing at the end, and I am thrilled and beyond excited to say your boy's back in the game. Your boy's doing these again, man. I've been a little bit away, pretty inconsistent over the past few months, just kind of focusing on myself, figuring out what's the next moves. I am in a new spot, in a new setting, which is exciting. I don't have my art on the wall yet, which that's completely on me and my procrastinating ways. But now that I'm getting back on this grind, expect some art up in the next, hopefully the next pod, but definitely the next few. Fight sports have been pretty meh as of recently. I'm sure we can all agree. UFC especially has kind of just been giving us product under this new Paramount lineage. It's kind of been meh. Right. At least from my perspective, I think it's kind of been meh. Last Saturday was probably the funnest card of the year. Some of the funnest moments, the build up, the press conferences, the seasonal press conferences, and then this card, all of it was just like refreshing as a fan. And maybe it's what motivated me to get back on here and start talking my shit. But it's nice to see a little bit of steam kind of heading the UFC's way after just some like main events and cards in the Apex. It's nice. This was a good card. And an outcome that, gang, I did not see coming, bro. I did not see Strickland winning this fight. Like all of us, like the line said, I thought it was going to be a Khamzat Chimaev first round rear naked choke, strangulation, RIP, and that's the end of it. That's the end of Strickland and all the antics, and it's time to put it down. But no, that wasn't the case. That sure wasn't. And Strickland in that first round looked so unbelievably well, staying composed, staying disciplined, staying in his zone. He was under some serious control time. I think that first round, Khamzat had 4+ minutes of just controlling Strickland, not letting him move, not letting him do nothing, just on his back, hitting him. But Strickland defended against the choke flawlessly. And there were moments where it's like, oh shit, does he have it? Does he have it? He switched arms. Khamzat, he switched. But nah. Strickland defended wicked well. He definitely was practicing that position, I'd assume, in training camp leading up to this one. A lot of somebody on your back just defending against the arms and fighting the choke. I think a lot of that definitely came to Strickland's benefit during the fight. Something about Khamzat in like the first 5 minutes of the fight and like the entire lead up is so intimidating. It's so scary. Like the dude looks like a world beater. But then in the second round, something weird starts to happen. He wants to stay on the feet a little bit longer. Strickland starts to land a few of his strikes, and Khamzat's like, yeah, this is not the game I was trying to do. I'm going to shoot. And then he gets stuffed. Strickland stops him. And it was the weirdest moment was when Khamzat pulled guard and he like kind of laid on his back. It was just like, that was really weird for me. As soon as I seen that, I'm like, uh-oh. This is a very telling sign. Is he already tired? This is round 2, I believe this was. You're already tired. There's so much fight left to go. And you're pulling guard? To me, that was nuts. I couldn't believe that moment. I couldn't believe like the reality of Strickland winning the belt again. After, I don't know about like you, but for me, he looked scared leading up. And like the press conference, he was like, Khamzat was bodying him all week long. I'm your daddy. I'm this, I'm that. And Strickland just did what Strickland does and just barks louder and says the more insane things than you said. You're Chechnyan this, your people are this. Strickland went in. And afterwards, he gave respect. That's how you sell a fight. We get it, yada, yada. It looked real. The beef looked real. Khamzat released the sparring clip like a day before the fight, which watching it, I'm like, what is this showing me? What is this showing me? And Khamzat's talking about, I bully the bully. For me, I didn't see no value in that clip. It was literally just Strickland walking back and Khamzat kind of marching him down, which, you could take that away from it. But for me, like, you're in sparring. Who knows what happened before? Who knows what happened after? it could have just been a positional thing where we just got to stand and, just dance. And Strickland, maybe he was only trying to throw a specific strike or a specific movement or only do a specific thing, and he couldn't find it. So he's walking back. I don't know. Training, there's so much different things that could play a part. So I took zero stock into that clip, but I still thought Khamzat was going to win. Then the third round, Strickland starts to kind of, Khamzat decides not to shoot a takedown, and I'm just going to stand up. I thought that was weird. This is when like the momentum completely started to go in Strickland's direction. And Strickland's game is so fundamental. It's just Philly shell 1-2, 2-3, 1-2, 1-1, 2-1. Like it's all the same shit. He threw 0 kicks in this fight with the fear of the takedowns. Good game plan for you, Strickland. We know him traditionally to throw those teeps and kind of get range with those teeps and the jab. That's kind of his game, but no teeps this time around, which Khamzat would have probably obliterated him if he caught that leg and slammed him on his head, but didn't happen. It was just a classic fundamental beatdown on the feet. It was completely Sean Strickland's game. I mean, Khamzat was hanging. He was doing damage. I think he broke Strickland's nose and Strickland was wearing it, but Khamzat was also wearing damage. This was a wicked good fight. I really enjoyed it. Watching it for the first time, I thought it was pretty split up the middle going into that 5th round, and Khamzat just decided to stand up. And just, yeah, I mean, he attempted the takedowns, but ultimately, like, once you land the takedowns, what do you do with that? And Strickland did a really good job of not getting caught with nothing, no chokes, defending against them, ultimately getting back to his feet every single time, back doing the man dance. So I like that the judges gave it to Strickland. People online talking about, in order to beat the champion, you got to dethrone the champion. That's horseshit. That's horseshit. You got to just win 3 rounds. And to me, Strickland won 3. Strickland won the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th in my book. And Khamzat won the 4th and the 1st. Yeah, that's kind of how I scored the fight, but it was definitely up for the 5th round, and Strickland just brought the smoke. Strickland's a dog, man. Strickland's a dog. And honestly, after that 1st round, I thought it was going to be a long night for Mr. Strickland, but that it was. But for neither one of the competitors, I feel like it was a pretty split up the middle fight. It was very close until the last round, and Strickland just by a landslide, just put his name a little bit ahead of Khamzat. And I think the right man won. Not the man I thought was going to win, but the right man won based off the fight that we watched. Just a bunch of weird antics from Khamzat as well leading up to the fight, the weight cut miss. And apparently the broadcast mentioned it, but I went back and I watched the actual interview where his teammate Khalil Roundtree talked about he was supposed to be fighting Yuri for the interim title, but that didn't happen. Carlos Olberg got that fight, and Khamzat had to cut an additional 15 pounds or whatever it was. So in total, he had to cut like 40 pounds of weight in order to make the middleweight maximum, which is, they say you got to be a professional and never miss weight. But then, like, this guy's preparing for a whole nother weight class above. That doesn't happen. So now I got to cut an additional weight. I don't know. It's a shitty position to be in. But at the end of the day, like I said, you got to kind of be a professional, no? You signed up. This fight was happening. We knew about it for months. You gotta lock in. And the controversy really lied not in Khamzat's. It's not Khamzat's fault. I mean, it is fault that he missed weight, but like the way that the commission handled that weight, and that's the second he touched the scale, you hear the guy say 185, but then you hear the little weight ding, and so we all know what that means is the scale's moving. So there's no way you could tell in that split second that he weighed 185. It's impossible, especially with the ding. And people online talking about why, and I think Dana even was asked this in the post press conference, was why don't we use digital scales? We are in 2026. Why are we still using like the 1970 like adjustable scale? What are we doing here? That's a great question. That is a great question. And Dana's response was, at 9, 9:02 a.m. Tuesday morning. Call the New Jersey Athletic Commission and ask them, and it's like, all right, but it does have nothing to do with you, but you could have at least gave us some sort of answer, historical. They're not going to change it because this is what they did over the past day. I don't know. Make something up instead of doing one of these, but I regress. Congrats, Strickland. You are our middleweight champion. Now the question becomes, what's next? It seems like Khamzat's on to light heavyweight, although this would have been a sick second fight and potential trilogy. This could have been a really fun rivalry move, one of those fun fights. But seems like Khamzat's moving up to 205. I don't hate the move. Now you don't have the belt though, so now you might have to fight a contender. You might have to fight somebody in that top 5 before we look at you as a champion contender, especially in a world where Carlos Ulberg is there now as the champion. And now we need he's going to be out for a little bit. So now we're kind of trying to figure out what's next for the champion when he returns next year. So that's enough time if Khamzat wants to pull up, fight someone, make a case for himself, that's not a bad play. A Yuri versus Khamzat would be a sick fight. That'd be nuts. Khamzat doesn't strike me as at least on screen, the biggest dude in the world. He kind of has the thinner cut shoulders. He's not big and brolic. So I don't know how he fares at 205. I'm definitely gonna be tuning in to see, because that level of wrestling, good luck to those 205ers, man. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. So with all that, I wonder how much the weight cut played into his performance. Having to lose that much weight under, all that tension and duress. I wonder how much that impacted the fight. Would it have been a different fight if he was preparing for this weight cut this entire time? What ifs? What ifs? But Strickland, what's next for him? Feels like Nasruddin is kind of the move. There's zero part of me that's itching for that fight. It could never happen again, and I'd be fine. Nasruddin, respectfully, is not the most exciting guy in the world. I'd rather see Strickland versus Fluffy again, or Brandon Allen again, or almost anybody in that top 10, respectfully. But Nasruddin has done enough. He knocked out Izzy. He's fought again and won. He beat Bahail, his last one out. So he's definitely that guy. I feel like he's earned it, but excitement level stock, it's And then there's always Dricus. Dricus is always kind of in the mix. Strickland lost his belt to him last time around. Maybe a rematch there. That could be kind of exciting. But I'd assume that Dricus needs one more after getting bullied by Khamzat. Just getting bullied like that. And also, how about one for the MMA math, man? This is why it doesn't make sense. Because if you were calculating, your math told you that Khamzat was going to beat the brakes off of Sean Strickland based off Sean Strickland versus Dricus. Was a close fight, but Dricus got obliterated, smashed for 25 minutes versus Khamzat. So that would have told you that Strickland's going to have a rough night in the office. But kids, MMA math is never real. It doesn't work, and it should never. And this is another example for that. All right, moving on. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, and what a banger firefight this was, man. Where do I even begin? Let's start with Tatsuro, man. What a gangster he is, bro. He just doesn't give up. Strong. He can eat a shot. At some point, you start to worry. You got to block with maybe your forearms instead of your face. You don't got to eat all these jabs. But he was fighting until the ref pulled Van off of him. He was not trying to, there was no quit in him that night. Unbelievable conditioning, unbelievable game plan. He, like Strickland, Van did a great job fighting off of his back, or fighting with a guy on your back, because that's Tatsuro's game. We knew Tatsuro was going to run into this and try to grapple, making it one of those fights, a little dirty, versus Van's method of victory was just, here, buddy, come catch these manos. We know Van can box like nobody else in this division. And that was on full display. That was on absolutely full display. The jab was fucking, oh man. Van's jab is a thing of beauty. This fight is an absolute rewatchable. And Van in general, just, that's gold. the way he pivots, the way he bop, bop, bing, and moves and just stays out of harm's reach while still landing his is really impressive. And Tatsuro's not a big power guy, so I didn't expect Van to get hit with something that would really, question his chin. But Tatsuro was tough as nails, and he was throwing, and and Van was just eating to deliver his. And yeah, one guy was 22, the other or 23, the other one was 25, and it's like this is the next generation of fighters, man. This is so exciting, and like the level of fight that they put on just should make us all excited for like the next 5 to 10 years with these two as kind of like the guys at flyweight. I'd imagine it's trilogy season for these two. Maybe Tatsuro has to go out, fight again, earn his spot back, and Van could go on a run here and just be a champion for the next like 2, 3 years. Who knows? Who knows? Who in the weight class is going to touch Van right now? Maybe Pantoja when he returns, which that was a funny moment whenever Van did the whole "you got to get your shit together" Pantoja, and the camera pans to Pantoja, and he's like, What the fuck?" I feel Pantoja. I think out of respect for him and the things he's done in the sport and the division the past 4 or 5 years, I think she should have probably reworded that one. You might have said, heal up. We got to run that back. That's one we all want to see. Beautiful. Everybody loves it. He's like, get your shit together for something I can't even control. Like I can't control when my forearm's gonna snap in half. That's only in God's hands. And I think that was his stink face. That was the cause of it. And Van's buckling down. He said that shit a few more times in his like post-fight press conference and the podcast he does later. He's kind of running with that. So that's a banger. That absolutely is the next fight for the flyweight championship fight. You give Pantoja his rightful due, and we run that one. I was on the camp that this fight shouldn't have ever happened. Tatsuro versus Van. I thought the champ got hurt. You wait for the champ to return, and then you do the title fight. Maybe do an interim, Tatsuro versus this person, but the championship fight is Van and Pantoja when Pantoja comes back, and the belt will be on the shelf until then. That's how I would have personally wanted it to play out, but I must say I'm pretty happy with another flyweight banger fight on our docket, on our rewatchable list to head back in a few months and rewatch this. We need more of those. So props to those two guys. At one point, I thought Van was going to finish him with a rear naked choke, and I was damn near jumped out of my seat. Like, are you kidding me? This ain't your game, bud. You're about to do this? Are you serious? You almost did. So shout out Van. And another thing had me thinking, once they pulled up stats about the significant strikes, and he's like 4 or 5 fights away from Max Holloway as like the number one significant strike, like 100 significant strike per fight. I think he's 7 now. Max has 11. This kid is 24, bro. This might be the next generation's Max Holloway. If he can really put on a run here at flyweight, defend the title a few times in that exciting fashion, kind of that standing striking style, we might, hear me out, we might have our hands on the next generation's Max Holloway. Argue with me in the comments, but that's genuinely and wholeheartedly the next generation's favorite fighter. I think it could be Joshua Van, bro. It could be Joshua Van. All right. Shout out those guys. Shout out Asia. On fire right now. Moving on. Alexander Volkov beat Waldo Cortes-Acosta, number 2 versus number 4 in the heavyweight division. This was a fun fight. I'm not mad at it. Wicked close. Some people thought Waldo won. Some people thought Volk won. I think if we're judging a fight based off analytics, it's Volkov. However, if we're judging the fight based off who's making it more exciting, who's bringing the fight, who's making you want to stare at your screen, that was 100% Waldo Cortes. He made this fight pretty fun to watch with his shit talking, with his like these gestures. I enjoy that stuff. I think it makes the fight more exciting. It kind of adds showmanship aspect to the game, and we need more of that. We need more exciting, fun moments, fun fighters, guys who are going to make people want to cancel their plans on a Saturday night to watch two guys throw down, or a card of guys and ladies throw down. But Waldo won the fight, if that was what you're judging on. But Volkov landed more strikes. In the second round, he wobbled Costa, and Costa's reaction, stepping back, like, come on, bro, awesome. That's fun as fuck. And that's only capable at heavyweight. It's only, I think, funnest when it's done by a heavyweight. Whenever it's a flyweight getting cracked, and like, it's like, all right, bud, you can get sniped from so far, the speed of those flyweights. But heavyweight, you see that shit coming, and it's fun and thrilling. So yeah, congrats to Volkov. Interesting post-fight press or interview in the octagon with Joe Rogan. Little unsure what he even said, but seems like he was talking about the interim title fight, that it should be neither of those guys. It should be him, which he makes the case. Gon's got 12 title fights, lost them all. And Alex Pereira is coming up from a different weight class. And Volk's like, I've been doing this for damn near a decade. Where's my respect? And rightfully so. Rightfully so. The number 2 guy just defended his slot. I think he's making a case that he should be up next for whenever the title situation gets sorted out, which that might put him on the shelf for a long time, my boy. So I doubt he's gonna wait out for that, but maybe weigh in as a backup. I don't know, but I'd like to see Volkov in a big fight. He's deserved it. He's really done a lot for the weight class the past decade. He's made it fun, made it exciting. Maybe not this time, but he's given us fun moments. So what else does he have to do? Speaking of have to do, Joaquin Buckley needs to work on that wrestling. And Jesus, Sean Brady came out like he looked like a world beater on Saturday. Big, strong. It looked like Buckley could do nothing. Can't stop the takedowns, won't stop the takedowns. And Brady was just on top of him, it felt like, the entire fight, control time, and just ground and pounding him. Yeah, I don't really got much. Shout out Brady, man. He needed this win after his the Morales fight, getting knocked out in that first round. That's not a good look. Top 10 in the world, though. You needed to maybe defend your spot, which he did tonight again, or on Saturday against the 9th. Buckley defended his slot, looked dominant. I think this was a win-win for Sean Brady after a rough loss. And for Buckley, let me just make sure. Yeah, a rough 2020, a rough year for him. Losing to Usman, now losing to Brady in that fashion. It's not putting Buckley in an awesome position. But like I said, Buckley's one of those dudes like Costa who's gonna make just fight fun to watch, the build up fun to see. So I'd imagine he'll be back in a relatively big fight. Somebody in that like 10 to, or somebody in that like 12 to 15 range is what I'd assume or predict next for him. But Buckley got to defend that spot now. Maybe somebody who's even unranked, a young guy who's trying to make a big name off of it. It's that time, Buckley. It's that time. The most controversial thing of that fight, though, was the complete shift of the line. I feel like I woke up that day with Sean Brady being the underdog, and then like when I went around the fight time to check it again, it was the complete opposite. Like it completely flipped to 150 the other way. Now Buckley's your favorite. I thought to myself, it's Buckley some plus money. There might be a little value there, but good thing I sat this one out. I sat that one out, but I did, however, go 0 for 6 on the night on parlays. Not my best night, shit happens. I didn't have my gambling account for some months, so I think once it was in front of me again with some money in it, I got really excited, a little trigger happy, my first event back. So that one was on me. I'll wear that one on the chin. 0 for 6. That's a record for me, I think. Unless I had a worse day on the pod, I must have talked about it. Something about 0 for 7 is ringing a bell, but I hope that's not me. Anyways, moving on. King Green opened the card, and King Green still getting first round finishes, this time by sub. Unbelievable King Green. Which that's the old Bobby Green. I mean, I wish his name was still Bobby. King Green is a little weird. Change your name now, we all got to call you King, is a little strange. But Jeremy Stevens, feel for that guy. Like they just bring him back for these yearly Northeast cards just to kind of sell some tickets. I thought he was going to retire after this one. He held on to those gloves, but yeah, rough one. And it's tough because he last competed in bare knuckle boxing. So to go from bare knuckle boxing to like full on mixed martial arts where I got to worry about wrestling and kicking and jujitsu and grappling and clinching and all this extra curricular activities that I don't need to worry about when I box, it's a lot. It's a lot to just like flip a switch, even though you've done it your whole life. I feel like it's tough to go back and forth. You usually just stay on one side of the street or the other and stick there. Otherwise, guys like Bobby Green submit you, and that's unusual. It didn't even look like the choke was really sunk in. It looked like he was on the side of him and just had him in a tough spot, and Jeremy got up out of there. But yeah, shout out King Green. Let's run through these prelims really quick. Aetbe Gutierrez, we all have stock in this kid. We know he's the next one up. He's knocking dudes out. This time it was nice to see him have some like ring time, him to be in there for a round and a half ish. But once he caught Aussie, shut him off. Turn on the PC, logging off signal. It was done. It was done. Once Aetbe lands that shot, it's looking slim for you. But speaking of looking slim, Yoel Alvarez got finished in the second round against Yaroslav Amasov, the former Bellator champion, won the performance of the night, which I think that was the UFC saying, "We see you, bud. Keep doing this. You might not get a top 5 guy next, but we see you. Enjoy this 100 beans, this 100 keezy, and we'll see you in a few months." And I think they're gonna really project him upwards because you wonder how good he is, how he competes. Yoel Alvarez, I thought was wicked good. I seen him as a favorite. I'll be honest, this was one of my O's. And I learned a valuable lesson. Yaroslav started breakdancing after he got the submission. I'm like, all right. Slammed Yoel on his head, just took him airborne. Boom! And I'm like, yeah, I should have. He was a favorite for a reason, man. I should have probably done a little bit more research. So that one's on me. Congrats, Yaroslav. Again, I'm wondering kind of what the UFC wants to do next, how they want to go about his trajectory. Either way, I'm in. I'm all in. Real quick, Grand Dawson versus Rubekiev. Rubekiev, we know he's a gas horse. He's gonna go 25 minutes, but Grant Dawson was just a better mixed martial artist. He gave him nowhere to go, just beat on him, and then by the end, he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. Whenever you wanna choke me out here." At one point, he wasn't even defending with his arm. He was just like moving his shoulders, just kind of hoping Grant doesn't catch him, but not a good game plan there, Mutsayev. Congrats, Grant. You're that's way to rebound after that rough loss. I think that was against King Green. Fuck you, Bobby. It was against King Green. Got him in that first round. Caught him with something early. So this was a good rebound. Good way to get back in there. Open up those prelim, that mid card was Jim Miller and Jared Gordon. Didn't see this one playing out this way. Jim Miller, what a guy. Still getting first round submissions at 45, 46, whatever, late years, old man still getting it done. And I'm happy to hear that the UFC just signed him for 4 or 5 more fights, and that will put him over the 50 fight all-time career UFC 50 fights. Nobody ever did that shit before. So what a guy Jim Miller is, and he continues to be, still finishing dudes. And Jared Gordon, this is kind of a tough one. You lose to a legend, which it's not the end of the world, but we all thought you were going to win. And we all thought it'd be, at least myself, I thought it'd be a 15-minute kind of just standing up sparring match kind of vibe. But Jim Miller's still out here finishing dudes. Khamzat's boy got up in there, really fought against a really tough Jordan Santos from Brazil. That Santos dude was not giving him an inch, not showing up just for the payday. He showed up for a scrap and got one and gave one. And Khamzat's boy won, but almost. He was getting caught with some shit. He's flashy, though. What is it? Susurakayev? He's pretty flashy. He's fun to watch. He was throwing a lot of spinning attacks. Didn't really land any. I think until the third or second round, he hit some spinning body shot, but he was throwing a lot of those spinning attacks. Wasn't really working, but you can see a lot of potential. Wicked flashy. I've been excited, but I'm even more. Yeah, I think that's everything on this UFC 328 card. Congrats to the champions and new and still in the top two. And the rest of the card was pretty fun. Next big one is the UFC at the White House card, which I'm intrigued just to see it all play out logistically, how it looks. We seen the press conference last week with Hulkid and going after Pereira and Ilya riding out. So the characters are definitely there. The fun characters are aligning. I'm excited for that card. They should have probably chosen a better location, but historic nonetheless. Nonetheless, a historic one at that. All right. Enough on MMA. Real quick before I get out of here, some fun boxing fights last weekend I want to talk about a little. Naoya Inoue versus Nakatani. Oh man. Now that's one fight I want to see just 3 times. Just line them up. The next 2 years, you guys are only fighting each other. Let's give the highest level, the creme de la creme of boxing. Let's feed generations with this one. 2 undefeated guys, 2 power punchers, 2 big hitters, lined up. I hate that it was at 7 a.m. Eastern time, but I love what they're doing. I love that they're putting boxing on for Japan, and they're giving their people prime time boxing. It's honestly remarkable. It's remarkable stuff. It reminds me of, not to get completely off topic, what the artist Bad Bunny does with his residency over this past year in Puerto Rico, where he was like, I'm the biggest artist in the world. If you want to see me, come to my beautiful little country of Puerto Rico, or whatever, U.S. territory. Come to my little beautiful country and come see how we live, and let me give you the best experience with my concert and all these extra amenities. It's kind of similar to boxing. If you want to see one of the pound for pound's best boxers in the world, Inoue, and probably one of the best matchups of the year, in him versus Nakatani, come here all the way to Tokyo, bud. Come to Tokyo. And if I had the funds and the resources and the connections, brother, I would be front row in that bitch, watching it in unison with the crowd. Oh, whatever sound they want, your boy's making it. So just what a unbelievable blessing for all those people in attendance to be there and watch that fight. Again, I hope it happens again and again. It went the distance. Naoya Inoue, it's that guy. He's not pound for pound for no reason, but I think Nakatani lost 0 stock. He was definitely the underdog by a little margin, but he showed out. He put on a good name for himself, and honestly, the future is really, really up for Japanese boxing, man. They're really putting on those little power punchers they are. Another topic of boxing that happened, I believe, on the same evening was the David Benavidez moving up to cruiserweight and dethroning Zurdo Ramirez in just pure Mexican David Benavidez monster fashion, just hitting you with 12 punch combinations, unreal speed, even up this weight class, adding the weight. Speed did not go nowhere, except there's now even more power included. And Zurdo's face was toast after that one, and that's just purely off the skill of Benavidez, man. Zurdo, he was just outmatched. Unfortunately, he was just in there with a better fighter, a guy who was gonna beat him no matter how it looked. So shout out you, David Benavidez. I definitely think that boosts him in that pound for pound rankings. I got to update my list, but I imagine he's somewhere in that top 5 to 7 range, moving up that many classes, and looking as dominant as the best champions in that division. Moving up is unreal. And a fun little caveat to that was Canelo in the corner of Jaime Munguia as the co-main event, but then getting up out of there before Benavidez took the stage, getting way up out of there. And that kind of bummed me out. That bummed me out a little bit because, again, that was the fight we were chasing for so long. Everybody wanted to see that at 68. Benavidez got tired of waiting, moved up to 75, now moved up to cruiserweight, and is just collecting bodies. And Canelo is probably on a one-way ticket to retirement, and rightfully so. I think as of now in 2026, do I want to watch that fight? Nah. Now, do I want to watch Canelo versus William pizza chef, cab driver, Gambosis? No. I definitely don't want to see him fight a random dude. But at the same time, I don't want to see him get mollywopped by Benavidez, especially when I think Benavidez is now kind of making a play for pound, maybe undisputed, like a lot of different plays where it doesn't even need to be a clout fight. You don't even need to go for the biggest fighter in boxing, because you continue at this pace, that will be you, Mr. Benavidez. You will be pound for pound number one. You dethrone, you go back to your light heavyweight, you go fight Bivol, which is a fucking awesome fight. I would love that fight. I'd love him versus Beterbiev, although Beterbiev is now 43 or something like that. I don't know if he still is looking for a fight, if he still wants those big names like that. I'd rather him fight Bivol just based off age and kind of they're similar. Benavidez is younger, but they're similar, you know, they're not too far off versus you fighting a 45-year-old and in Canadia's Beterbiev. That might not be the best move for him, at least. Benavidez, it's going to be a big fight no matter what. And then there's always the option of moving up to heavyweight. If Benavidez continues just to put on weight and look good and keep that speed and power and punch, what about him versus Usyk? I know Turkey came out and said that that's one of his super fight dreams, and that fight would be unbelievable. That would be unbelievable. I kind of think Usyk's getting a little bored with those current heavyweights, so this would add an unbelievably fun wrinkle to the mix. This would be so awesome. Versus fighting this kickboxer, Landhofen or whatever, Vancouver or whatever. I don't want to see that fight. Especially under boxing rules where we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. This guy's not going to come in and beat the king. The king beats the king. All right. I think that's all I got. Again, I am unbelievably thrilled to be back here talking to this microphone. To whoever is listening to this, thank you so much. Please show your love. Subscribe to the pod on YouTube. Rate 5 stars wherever you're listening to it. Follow us on Instagram at the HB Pod, on TikTok. I plan to be back, getting back in my interview bag. So whoever, whenever, let me know. And yeah, until the next one, and always free Palestine.